Hey, welcome back to the Driver 88 podcast. Today, we've got one of our very favorite YouTubers on our channel. It is Rex H, and welcome to him. Rex is a guy that we've been watching for many, many years. Automotive YouTuber who started in one of my very favorite places. Of course, it's at home in your own garage. Aside from drifting cars, modifying them, buying them off marketplace, doing all sorts of good things with affordable cars from JDM to starting off with a V6 Camry, which I think is very cool. We're going to get a bit of an origin story because you've been doing this for like almost 7 years now. And how many videos would you think you've done in 7 years? Probably
I know exactly how many videos I've done.
Yeah, I haven't looked.
I've done 660 videos.
Shit.
And I'm always watching that number go up because, like I was saying before, it takes a lot. You got to be very consistent. You got to work really hard. It's part of the YouTube game. I know that you can relate a lot to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. But it's also very rewarding.
Yeah, so, for sure. Yeah. I think maybe we'll talk to you about where you started, what I guess gave you the impetus or the motivation to pick up a camera and start modifying with your friends, which is always a great sort of experience. Hey, you've sort of built this channel. 100,000 strong people subscribe to you now, which is a credit to you, but also really, really cool that you've built this community. You've got a brand, which I kind of like as well, like your stickers and stuff is quite cool, the Benky Spec. I need to get a Benky Spec car to slap it on, maybe just myself because I'm a bit bent up. But yeah, tell me about where you're going, but then let's start about what happened in the garage like 7 years ago. What gave you the motivation to start filming your V6 Camry, modifying it with your mates?
Well, it was a very odd story. Like, not really an odd story, not a very fun story, but I've been watching YouTube for years. I've been watching like TJ Hunt, Adam LZ, and like the way that they just live their lives, being able to like have fun with their mates, modify their cars, really made me want to be like them. So one day I just decided to pick up a camera when my mate bought an exhaust for his Mitsubishi Lancer, and I just started filming it. Yeah. And my mate was like, what are you doing? And I didn't tell him what I was doing. I even edited the video, uploaded the video, and I didn't even tell him about it. And yeah, I just kept doing it until he found out eventually, and now we're here. Yeah. That's
good, man. I mean, so yeah, I get motivation from watching YouTube, and I could probably relate to that a fair bit. Because I've been watching YouTube since, 2010 earlier. And I think that's a big part of my motivation as well, like wanting to just produce something that I saw that looked so good, I felt was a nice experience to see, and then try to do it myself. Those guys are still going strong now, right? Like still producing a lot, still doing really well. I remember watching one of your videos recently that was like, maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago, and it was more of a personal video, and obviously you're decided at some point, look, I want to turn this into like a brand. I want to have this as my full-time job. And I'm seeing my friends like get out of uni or start their first jobs, and I'm feeling like, am I doing the right thing? Like, is it worth it? And like, obviously now, years later, as you said, you're starting to find your headway, which is great. Tell me about that journey.
A lot of my mates, went through university and did their apprenticeships and everything, but I never wanted to do any of that. I wanted to not work a regular 9-to-5 job. I wanted to sort of have the freedom to do what I want and not get locked in. So that's why I decided to pursue YouTube really hard. To be able to just have a free time, like chill with my mates and all that.
Yeah. Awesome, man. That's the thing. I think a big part of the channel is, I was telling you before, watching your stuff. It's really relatable, and even just talking to you now, it just seems so comfortable when you're filming with your mates, modding cars. You're in the street, you've bent something, and you're trying to fix it, or your friends, done something with their car that's quite hilarious. Tell me about the Camry, man. The first car in your driveway, and now I've noticed like, I'd hate to be one of your neighbors. I'll say that. Maybe I'd like it myself, but I think a lot of people might not. How has it gone trying to modify cars when you've got 6 of them in the street and all your mates are coming over trying to get hands on?
It's not the easiest thing. Like, there are a lot of people that do come past, as you probably have seen the videos. Yeah. And I have upset a few neighbors, but they I always say sorry. I'm always like, very like, I'm sorry. Like, we're just playing around and stuff. And I understand, but I've had one neighbour in particular that's always like sticking their head around the hedges.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Yeah. Especially in Victoria, it's like not in my backyard state.
Exactly, yeah.
Heavily policed state as well. So
I do try to be chill. I'm very respectful to my neighbours and all that.
Oh, so. for sure. It's not like you're doing burnouts in like the street out the front of your place or anything like that.
No.
Like some people do in their place of business as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah. What are you working on at the moment? I've seen that you've started going off-roading as well, which is like a massive thing culturally now. Like the patrols are obviously always been a massive following. Drifting. What has it been like learning how to drift?
I've always really wanted to learn how to steer a car that way because I feel like not many people can do it.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I feel like you can always like learn how to do it over time, but I feel like that natural feeling of being able to like send a car sideways is not like a lot of people just don't have that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just wanted to progress in that and be able to control a car, sideways, and that's why I bought the AU Falcon. And that's why I've been drifting that, learning that, and eventually I want to like start drifting my Chaser at the track. But obviously it's a little bit more risk,
Yeah.
A much more expensive car.
Yeah, for sure. It's not a cheap hobby. I mean, even with the most affordable car possible,
no.
Any sort of motorsport, it's not going to be cheap, obviously.
Yeah, well, look, you can get into it cheap with the AU, but it still ends up, costing quite a bit.
Yeah, tires. I mean,
tires.
I mean, they've probably gone up like, I don't know, 50, 100%.
But that's why you get the cheapest quality tires that you can buy.
What should I be buying?
$60 wind runs.
Hell
you get the, I don't know, there's even some Ling Longs. There's actually like genuine tires called Ling Longs.
Ling Longs. Hell yeah, man. I'm assuming they're Chinese.
Yeah, that's it. Got wind runs,
Man, I'm going to get myself some Ling Longs just for like the next car again. I'm thinking of getting the new M2. The thing that everyone thinks is ugly. I'm smashing some Ling Longs on that thing for sure.
Hell yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man, learning to drift, it's like, it's kind of, it's something I think the younger you are, the better, because it's quite an unnatural feeling to feel out of control while you're out of control. Not out of control, but, the wheels are spinning, the wheels are not.
Yeah, it's really hard to like stay on it when, the car's sideways, and that's what you have to do. You got to keep on throttle and control it that way rather than the steering.
Yeah. And there's just not like...
Go backwards.
And there's just barely any facilities or any sort of easy place you have to really seek it out, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like, that's why I think so many people get in trouble now is because we have so few facilities, so few tracks.
Definitely.
And it's just prohibitive, really.
Yeah. You've got Calder Park, but that's like a full main track and you got to be really careful there because there's walls and everything. The only real place that you can like learn would be like at Winton, and that's a 3-hour drive, and over there they've got like a massive skid pan, but it's a big commitment. Like you got to drive all the way there, you got to get a accommodation, stay there, unless you want to do the trip there and back in the same day, but that's not really like that enjoyable. And
then I mean also like if you bin it or do you trailer the car there,
exactly, that's another thing.
There's so many things. That's
why you can either just risk it like we do, or go all out, and then that's another like $300 on the day, hiring a trailer.
What about off-roading? You bought yourself a Patrol, man.
So that was a bit random. Decided to try the Facebook Marketplace. That's when I started my Facebook Marketplace journey, which I'm sure you know about. Because I feel like a lot of people can relate on talking a bit like to people in Facebook Marketplace. Like it's
shenanigans.
It's full shenanigans. So I decided to make content on it, and we looked for the cheapest, crappiest Patrol on Marketplace, so that we could use it to tow cars. And we bought the $3,000 Nissan Patrol, and it served us pretty well, surprisingly. Yeah,
well, I mean, they're supposed to not die like the Toyotas, right? They're supposed to be completely venerable. So, I don't mind that. Where have you taken that so far?
We've taken it to Bunyip.
Yeah.
Basically, Bunyip. We haven't taken it anywhere else because I don't think it's capable of going to like Talangi. That's where a lot of other guys go. Talangi. I'm not. I took a Wrangler
to Talangi in like, I don't know, the easy bit, and it was pretty dry, so it was pretty easy. But man, I get it. Like, it only took me one time, and I'm like, what are these guys hanging around in mud for? Like getting stuck, and they're like, oh, we're stuck. Let's get out. Okay, let's do that again. And one day, and in a new Wrangler, and I was like, okay, I get this. This is fun as hell.
Yeah, I didn't understand it too, but once you're there and like you've got, there's no one else there. It's quiet. You can only hear just the birds chirping, like the insects and all that. And you're just by yourself, so it's cool to just be away from everyone else.
Yeah.
And have fun, like send a car.
Yeah, for sure. With your mates as well, a mixture of escapism and fun. Oh,
Yeah.
I get it. It's cool. Very, very cool. There's a lot of huge like Aussie forward driving channels on YouTube for sure in the last few years. What else? You've got your Chaser, you've got your Patrol, you've got the mighty AU. Now, look, I grew up as a bit of a Holden boy myself. For some reason, I was always like Team Holden. Don't know why. Because I used to get all the wheels and like motor magazines as a kid. And it was always like Ford versus Holden, whatever. So I was a bit Team Red. But man, tell me about the AU. What is the fascination? It's like a meme machine as well. It's like at some point, people obviously hated this car years ago. And then, of course, things always come full circle, right? So the more that people dislike something, then everyone loves something. Yeah.
So I always, my mate Nathan, he kept always telling me to buy an AU Falcon, and I just wasn't listening because it was such an ugly car. Like they're such an ugly car. They're probably the worst looking car that Australians have ever made. Yeah,
but with the most elite engine ever.
They do,
I say that as not even a muscle car guy, but like that engine is incredible.
It's unbeatable. Yeah. Right. So he kept telling me to buy it because there's like a cult like meme joke like following thing about it. And he said it would do good for my channel, and I was like, kind of down on content, and I was like, I may as well just buy it. So I bought it as a drift to turn into a drift car. Yeah. And we kept doing mods to it, and it just kept handling everything that we threw at it. Like I was, doing some naughty stuff, and I hit it into a wall and a curb, and it still was fine.
I saw that. Is that the one when you tried to like de-bend the front in the driveway?
That
was that a different car?
That was when I actually drifted at the track. I hit into a wall at the track.
Yeah. If I went drifting, I would be hitting every wall.
Yeah, it's fun though. That's why you get an AU Falcon, because they're $1,000, and if you bin it, doesn't even matter. You just buy another one.
Yeah,
and there's plenty of your mods.
There'd be plenty of parts around. I'm assuming wreckers have heaps of stuff for them still. Yeah,
for sure. There's heaps of them there.
Wreckers are even becoming like I'm sure in short time there'll be less and less wreckers, and everything will just be an iPhone that we drive, and that's pretty much it. You just get a new iPhone, and the next one is just thrown off into, I don't know, the nether.
Yeah, maybe there'll be electric drift cars one day.
I think there will be. There has to be electric drift cars. I've noticed at Goodwood Festival of Speed, pretty much all the electric cars were lighting them up. Because other than that, like that's the most exciting part, right? Mm-hmm. So, because if they don't light them up, it's just you're looking at a car and there's just not much going on. Like it's going fast, but there's no sensation of like speed or whatever. So if you see a Rimac or whatever light them up, then it's, I guess, a little bit more interesting in the silence.
Yeah, definitely. No, but AU's like, I feel like everyone's got to at least own an AU. Like if you're into cars, like you should just get an AU Falcon, lock the diff, and just feel it. Like it's a different sort of experience.
Well, how do you
got to come around and suss it.
Man, for sure. How do you compare drifting the Chaser to the AU, like Ford versus a Ford or Japanese car?
It's very different because the Chaser's very quick. It's very fast, so when you're drifting it, you're moving way faster. The AU's like got no power compared to the Chaser. Yeah.
Because you've got an NA, of course. Yeah. And so just heaps of low down torque, so you can get spinning pretty quickly, I'm assuming, and then it's a nice controlable low speed.
Yeah, it's a big sedan as well, so it just comes around really nicely. And it's all slow motion, so you can literally let go of the wheel and it kind of drives it kind of drifts itself. Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense. And the Chaser, so you got more power. How much power are you making in the Chaser?
It's making roughly 331 kilowatts at the wheels.
Okay, that's enough. Yeah, it's enough. They're probably pretty light, right? Like from that year.
Yeah, they are. They're 1450 kilos.
Okay. Yeah, that's like a sports car.
For a big sedan, it's very light.
Sports cars now are like 1,600, 1,700 kilos now. It's insane how heavy cars are getting. Like even another topic we probably we can get to is Porsches. Like a sports Porsche is like 1420, so it's that's a two-door. I know, that's right, and that's a two-door, so everything's just so heavy now. What else, man? How would you find 600 and something videos, God knows thousands and thousands of hours of work, editing, like the amount of work you put. I think probably a lot of people who have been watching you over the years modify cars, fixing stuff, buying new cars, have no idea sometimes how much work goes into it. You're also selling the merch and stuff. When did you sort of decide, all right, I'm going to try and turn this into sort of a business, a sustainable business, even though sometimes it does feel like you're juggling balls constantly because you can't take a holiday, as we said. Or I sometimes feel it's like you're giving someone mouth-to-mouth resuscitation because you're pumping away, putting out like content, and like if you stop, it just will die, right? So it's a lot of work. Tell us about, I don't know, your journey.
It's been a long one for sure. 7 years of hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah, where did it all start?
Because obviously, I mean, you would have got a bit of traction. Your Camry got lots of views, man. Like I saw some of your views with the Camry where you've done sort of simple mods, and hundreds of thousands of people watched it. I guess because Camrys, I mean, there's like how many Camrys are there in the world? Like millions of them.
It was my first car, basically. So I just decided modding that. But
why not?
Yeah, it's always been my goal to like I said, be a YouTuber full time and all that. Yeah. And I've sort of let it. So I had a job at the time as well. So I'm actually now full time.
I was just about to say that because you recently said, not only did you bring on a new sponsor in Autobahn, congratulations, it's awesome. But again, congratulations because you quit your job, your fully sustainable business. Awesome, man.
I didn't quit, but I kind of like waited for it to run out.
Yeah.
So it was a part-time, casual job that I had.
Yeah. That
was a COVID job, and I sort of let that I sort of kept working there until they let go of me. And I've kind of had to. I'm now full time, like not really by choice. So it's kind of pushed me to work really hard. Yeah, no pressure. But I've been sort of doing it a lot, like before that. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, you're still probably producing a number of at least 1 or 2 videos a week at least. Yeah. Which is far greater undertaking than I think a lot of people realize. And also, like, you have to think about, all right, what do I produce next? What do people want to see? Do I do an engine swap? Do I fix something? Do I buy something new? What the hell do people want to see? At the same time as you're like, oh, I want to do something that I enjoy too. What makes you choose like where to go next? Well, I've been trying to like focus more on things that are going to do well rather than just constantly uploading. I've been trying to like sort of look at, like, try to analyze more of like what does well rather than just doing like a car build, right? I've been trying to look at like what gets views, because that's more important than like anything, obviously. Like and like people will stick around for a car build, but I feel like if you can do like a very good quality video that's going to reel in a lot of views, that's more valuable that way. So that's why I've been doing all that Facebook Marketplace stuff. And I saw recently you had a video which had like a bit more of a cinematic like story to it. You put in like more editing and more people in it and stuff as well. I think that was for you like 100,000 subscriber, was it? The 100k subscriber one. And it's funny, like, you'll put heaps of work into that, and then you'll buy a car off Facebook Marketplace with some weird junkies trying to scam you, and that will get like 10 times more attention than something. That's the most frustrating thing about YouTube. Like I got my mate to film that whole thing. We planned it out over 2 weeks. It's epic. Yeah, like, it's really sick. Good. Oh, for sure. We'll put a link in the description for that. Cheers. It's awesome. It was so much fun to do. 2 weeks it took to film and everything, and 17k views versus like a little Facebook adventure which got 100k views. That's right. That's just how YouTube is, sometimes you just can't tell what is going to grab people's attention, and I guess sometimes people want McDonald's even though there's a nice meal to eat, right? They want something that's just quick and easy to throw away. But ultimately, those people who watch, I think, those videos with that extra effort in, they stick around too. They pay more attention and they're more involved. Like they're more not involved. What's the word? They're going to buy a sticker after that. They're going to keep watching and supporting you after that, which is someone that I've been watching you for 4 or 5 years or something like that. So very good, man. Also, years ago, you drove my Porsche, and your subscribers didn't like it. I noticed the comments that they weren't happy with me, man. They were like, who is this wanker in a Porsche? I want to see you change the oil on a Camry instead. Really? Something like that. I don't even know the comments. No, I'm joking. It's not a big deal. It just made me laugh. And recently you drove another supercar. Our mutual friend Nico Batman. Who's also started a YouTube channel like similar time as our new one about a year ago. He drove a 765 LT, which is slightly different than the Barra. Something probably like over 800. Because like McLaren's very sneaky with their numbers. It doesn't make anything remotely like 765 horsepower. It makes more like 800 plus. Oh wow! So they say that it's making they're sneaky. Like is. All the brands now, like BMW, AMG.
Ferrari not as much so, but definitely McLaren. Like they're making at least 10% more power than they claim, because people will put them on the dyno, and the dyno at the wheel figure will be pretty much the same as the crank figure, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Okay.
Like claimed crank figure. So they're making like at least 60 more horsepower. Anyway, tell me about driving a 765 LT Spider.
Oh, it was an experience. I'm still shocked that I was able to do that. So massive shout out to Nico. Absolute legend of a guy. He's a very funny guy.
He's good.
As you know.
He's good value.
Yeah. But yeah, driving that car was unbelievable. It's like literally teleportation.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, go around this corner. You can drop it here. And I just tapped down on the little paddle and put my foot down, and you're literally doing ridiculous speeds.
Yeah.
It's instantaneous. There's no turbo lag. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. That's what's so awesome about those new like twin turbo V8s and across on numerous brands really now. It's just that no lag whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
And then at 100, like it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, and he was telling me like at fifth gear, it gives you all the power, and I found it absurd because like I was only hitting like maybe not even the top of third.
Yeah.
And he's like, at fifth gear you got all the power, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I mean, I can say this now, it doesn't really make a difference. My 720 I ran from like 100 to 300 was just with ease.
Yeah.
With absolute ease. Like there was no letting up. You just put your foot down and you're just gone. It's like
he said he had a 720 and it was too fast.
Yeah,
he said he got a little bit sick of it because it's too fast and it's undrivable on the street.
Well,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think he had some mods to his as well. The biggest issue really is just being in Australia. Like if you're in Germany, you've got the Autobahn, you've got lots of tracks, it makes much more sense. But I think with an LT, you need to be going to the track as at least semi-regularly. But on our roads, man, as you know.
Oh, yeah. You got to be very careful.
Oh, yeah. Touch the accelerator.
In Victoria.
Yeah.
Right. Like Sydney's way more lenient. Sydney's
really?
Yeah, it seems like that for the car scene anyway.
Okay, yeah. It's definitely a topic that has come up a few times on this channel is the police state of Victoria for sure.
Unbelievable.
And even I saw Ross.
Gotta be careful with what I'm saying there.
I saw Ross reviews the other day. He did some reel about like looking at all the very smallest fine you can get for speeding, and Victoria's is like double most states. It's like $250 for going 3 kilometers over. Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I got a speeding fine in Sydney last time. I went to I was going on holiday to Brisbane, and then we drove the rental car to Sydney. Yeah, and I got a speeding fine, and I got in the mail, and it was like something like $100. And that's not heard of in Victoria. You don't get $100 speeding fine. It's always like $250 to $300.
If you park somewhere, it's $180 in Victoria. It's like Jesus Christ. Yeah, $100 fines. It's like when I was in high school or something like that. Yeah, I wish. If only. Anyway, that's why. I mean, Phillip Island. I love. I think with this next car I'm going to buy next year, definitely colder, and. Yeah, just a bit more of that stuff because you kind of have to here, right? It's just kind of restricted. It's difficult for you making modified cars as well.
It is.
At least there's some leniency. I was watching the other day that in France you can't do any modifications to your car.
Oh, wow.
Like not a single modification. And Germany is getting pretty rough now as well. Yeah. But at least we can do some mods. But then again, I'm sure have you been canaried before?
I've been very lucky. I've been pulled over twice in the Chaser. And I've been minor defected twice. They haven't ever given me a major defect.
All right, so
but they could have given me major, but you sort of just be really nice to the cop, and it depends on the cop.
That's right.
They can really get you hard. They could get your car off the road. One of them, the person that pulled me over the first time, said that we could literally get you'd have to go home on a tow truck.
Yeah,
the car's fine. The car's safe.
Yeah, I saw Mike.
It's got wheels, it's got tires, it's got an engine,
right.
It drives.
I know, right? It's like, if they want to get you, then they'll just can pick on everything, and then you're up for God knows how much money to try and get it back. Then there's obviously EPA as well. I saw Mike got done, North Borders got done recently with his Sora, I think, for, I don't know, a couple of things, but not surprising because, as soon as you're in a JDM car, especially now that they're sort of so well known, but also they're getting a bit older, you're just a target, right?
Yeah, I've been EPA'd as well. I've literally just been driving down the centre road to go get some food. Yeah. And that was the most expensive dinner I've had in a very long time. I can tell you that. Yeah, I got EPA'd straight away and to revert my car back. And
Oh, okay.
It's just part
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. It's funny, even stock cars now, you get pulled over and cops are like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
you
saw that.
aftermarket, you know, it's got something. It's like, no, it just sounds like that. Even like a lot of cars these days will have like, you know, pops and cracks, whatever. And cops are after you. My mate who has a 32, Ryan.32, I don't know anyone who's been pulled over more times than he's got an R32 GTR. Never, ever seen anyone pulled over more times than him. I reckon easily 50 times in the last 4 or 5 years, like, without a doubt. But he's got the gift of the gab, man. He's always like really nice to them and like has a chat, gets their name.
Be nice, man. That's the truth.
that's what it comes down to.
They'll be respectful if you're respectful. So
yeah. Mostly.
Yeah.
I haven't dealt with too many annoying like cops that like weren't reasonable.
It's because you don't have an AU Falcon.
No, I know. I got to get
Once you have one of those, you're screwed.
That's Content City though, right? Just driving around, just waiting for police. Tom, get the camera, quick.
New content ideas.
Yeah, that's right. You could be getting very expensive doing that. What else, man? We've got the Chaser Patrol.
Yeah.
What is I saw you brought on Autobahn as a sponsor recently, which is awesome, and thank God, right? Because God knows how much you must spend on bits, parts.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about being a car YouTuber, especially when it modifies one.
Yeah.
Like the overheads, like you got
Huge.
to buy the car, you got to modify the car. Like it's honestly, godsend having Autobahn on board.
Yeah.
But luckily I've got a few other companies now. Like shout out to Raceworks, PJZ Customs for turbos.
Nice.
Those guys are really helpful because I can keep that content flowing at a very less cost, which is always good.
Because you look at a lot of videos and you think, oh, you'd put a few mods on. I'm like, how am I possibly going to make this work given the cost?
I'm running negative the entire time.
Yeah, sure. I bet. I mean, it can be very prohibitive. Also, I guess, just in the last few years, anything JDM is just insanely expensive now.
Oh, it's a joke. Yeah. That's why I've got AUs and EF Falcons because... Yeah, that's the future. That's the future.
I mean, I was talking to Ben Hartnett the other week and we're saying like new JDM stuff is pretty cool. And obviously it's not cheap, but there's new models that are kind of bringing the good stuff back, like a few GR products and the Type R and the Corolla and things like that. But yeah, the older stuff, like when I grew up, old man, JDM was always like, okay, that's the option when you can have something that can be hugely modifiable, heaps of parts available, and it wasn't too expensive. And now it's just like, Jesus Christ, no one even like uses their car now. It's like they all go to these like static meets and cruise around. It's like when I was growing up, everyone was just beating the shit out of their GTRs or their 200 SXs or whatever. Now it's all they could become like show vehicles, which is kind of peculiar considering what they used to be used for. Cost is a big thing, but it's good to sponsors, man. That's going to be an essential for sure.
100%. Yeah.
What is coming up next, man? I saw you took the AU to the snow.
Yep, took the AU to the snow. I'm going on another snow trip with that car again.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll vlog it.
Yeah.
But the next thing is I need another build. I need another car. To just
get something
get
Euro
down with and start modifying and all that. I love it.
Get a Porsche, mate.
Look, I don't think you can do much to a Porsche.
I know.
On the budget,
Oh, dude, the prices of Porsches here are disgusting. Nuts. Like, you get some beat up Carrera, like not even a Carrera S that's like on its last legs, and it's like a 5-speed Tiptronic, and people want $100,000 for. Oh my god!
I'm happy dealing with my $1,000 AU Falcons.
Well, yeah, it's just there's a rip off
of those versus one Porsche.
Well, that's right. It's just not enough of them in the country, and we're at the end of the world in a right-hand drive market. It's just that's why they're so expensive. But yeah, Euro, man. I think years ago you did have one Euro thing, but it was like a pain in the ass. It was a BMW.
Wow, I'm surprised you remember that. Yeah.
I'm a legitimate fan,
crazy.
Mate. See,
that's awesome. My mate and I bought a BMW Lachlan.
Yeah.
Off what is it called, auctions. So we got it off what was it? Manheim, I think it was. Yeah, Manheim auctions.
Yeah, I'm too scared of those auctions,
dude,
man.
It was the worst decision I've ever made. So don't ever do this. Don't ever buy a VIV car. Yeah. Because you need to go through like all these inspections to get it back on the road, and it will still always end up having that
huge cost, man.
The what's it called?
It'll come up on its
it'll always come up, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So we bought the car and we had to keep doing all these inspections, and eventually those inspections costed as much as the car.
I'm not surprised.
It was unbelievable. You had to get like your car checked for like the frame rail straight, and then you got to go get to the dealership to get the seatbelt replaced, even though the seatbelt's not damaged. Like there's a lot of stuff. It makes
even
sense.
if it has a tiny nick in it or anything like that.
Exactly, yeah.
We were talking about just before, like this phenomenon that's happened with smash supercars or smash cars and people buying them in the in the UK, the US, all sorts of stuff, from affordable all the way up to like a McLaren P1 and stuff. It's probably a little bit harder to do in Australia.
No, you don't want to replicate it here.
No, you can't replicate it here, right?
No.
Like the cost would just be so prohibitive, and things are so strict here, I guess, as well.
Yeah. Like I said, the inspections are a nightmare. You got to go through, like 10 different inspections to get the car back on the road.
I don't get the obsession with it, though. People are obsessed with this. Like fixing an absolutely ducked car.
I feel like it's because like people think that they can
get a bargain.
Exactly. Get a bargain, build it, and then sell it, and then make some money. Everyone's all about that,
Yeah. I guess it makes sense. Sense. Facebook Marketplace, man. What are you looking for? What gets you excited about Facebook Marketplace? Besides there's funny stories always to be had as well. Yeah. But what are you looking for? Like if you went on now, what are we buying tonight at like 11 o'clock at night at Balaclava Station next to some
It's got to be Australian. The car's got to be Australian, right? So it's got to be either a Ford or a Holden, something trash.
Yeah. What about a Mitsubishi 380?
A Mitsubishi 380. Oh,
yeah. Do you remember those?
Yeah, I do. They're kind of expensive.
Oh shit! I know.
Yeah, I'm talking like under $1,000. You know.
I just always find it funny that a $500 car here equals like $4,000 worth of just getting pumped by the government, pretty much. Like between rego and all the taxes and like the everything else now, it's like no car is $1,000. Every car is like $5,000 in a way, if that makes sense. Yeah. Between insurance and everything else. So what are we looking for, man? Australian, like 18-year-old person right now is watching.
Yeah.
They're jumping on FB Marketplace. They've got $1,000 saved up from their McDonald's shifts. Mm-hmm. What should we look for?
You're going to hate me. Like, you already know the answer. You know what I'm going to say.
It's AU,
isn't it? It's an AU Falcon.
AU Falcon, hell yeah.
Such a,
they probably sold hundreds of thousands of them, right?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And you can also, like, get your bits together and turbo it, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can turbo it if you want to make more power. You can drift it if you want to drift. You can you can run it in a straight line. There's heaps of them out there. You can Barras swap one.
Yeah. You can have like all your mates in the back. It's a big car, right?
Yeah,
because all cars are kind of getting... There's no sedans anymore is what I'm trying to get at. They're all SUVs.
Yeah, true.
So the sort of performance sedan is a bit lost, really. They're not popular. In future, it's all just going to be SUV EVs. Anyway, not a good topic to get on. AUs. It looks like we're buying an AU.
Yeah,
we're buying an AU. Yeah, I sort of want like a European version of an AU, which is like a S4 Audi. But as we were talking about, Audis are just Christ, like getting parts here, working on them, the biggest expensive pain in the ass.
That's it.
But yeah, I'll do it if I was in Europe, but just not in Australia.
Yeah, BMWs. There's heaps of people building BMWs in America and in England because they're everywhere. They're like the AU there.
The way BMW is going at the moment, like with the S and B58, like and with all-wheel drive, if you want it, like I really like the direction they're going in. A lot of people don't like the looks of them, but I just feel like they're cars that you can now take to the strip or the track. They're easily modifiable. And they're going in the right direction. And those like 335s, 140s, again, you can have them as a track or a strip car.
True.
And I was never into BMWs, but I just feel like now they're doing the right thing, which I'm liking. Whereas now AMG, like 4-cylinder hybrid, which is like 2.2 ton sedan, no V8s anymore.
I haven't really looked at the new C63 is a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, it's a 4-cylinder hybrid. Not even a straight 6, and it's like 2.3 tons.
Yeah, it kind of ruins the fun of it. Like when my mate's got a C63, Daniel, and whenever he comes down the street, he's going, and you can hear all the pops and bangs and all that. And it sounds amazing. Yeah,
I mean, I'm a huge fan of the E63. I drove that through Europe a few years ago. Oh my god! Like talk about that instant like torque, and again, large enough car to have people in it, comfortable, but like just really, really great car all around. But again, like stupidly expensive now as well. And because the V8's gone, people are asking really, really funny prices on car sales, thinking it's going to be like some sort of classic, even though it's a mass-produced car. What's your like dream JDM car? Like, give me a dream JDM car, because I guess that's
ultimate dream JDM car.
Yeah.
Look, I would love an R34 GDR, but I think
they're not very popular.
they're very That's obviously that's everyone's dream.
Yeah.
But an R35 GTR would be that would be that's somewhat attainable. And they're obviously the quickest 0 to 100 time.
Yeah, and now they're like finished for Australia. It's funny how they finished in Australia earlier than the US. And then everyone tried to like flip them for a moment. Everyone was asking like $1 million for just a standard R35. I don't think that any of them moved for that much money. I saw a Nismo go for like, nowhere near as much. People are asking like 400 or 500, whatever it is. But when they get to auction, they never go anywhere near that. Still great cars, of course. Have you driven a 35, like a modded one before?
No, never.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit, you should. I'll get you to drive my brother's.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, for sure. It's not like off its face, but it's like, it's E85, like just downpipes, stage, whatever. I know people will shit me on me for saying stage, but 2-ish. Like it's not like turbos, so it's just downpipes and a tune and some bits.
Does it go good?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
How would it go against like the GT3?
There's no comparison. It's like driving, honestly, the R35, and my mate Ryan will say this too, they kind of drive a bit like a tank.
Yeah.
Like they do feel a bit heavy. Right? Yeah. And so compared to the sort of scalpelness of the 3RS, like it depends what you prefer. But you got to drive one. I'll see you, hopefully. I'll get in touch with you. Yeah. No, you'll enjoy that. That'll be good. 34 GTR, have you driven one of those before?
No, I haven't. I've never driven one. I've driven a 33 Skyline. Yeah. And obviously everything you can expect is an old Japanese car. So I'm sure it'd be similar to the R35, R34. Yeah, it was good. They feel really good, but you can hear everything in them. Like you can hear like the dash creaking, all the plastic moving and all that. Yeah. But they're very point and shoot, and they move really nice through the corners. Yeah, for sure. Iconic cars. And I guess when I was growing up, they were still as big as they are now. Like just hugely... Just way cheaper. Yeah, just a lot cheaper. I think when I was in year 12, there was like, whatever that famous blue color is, 34 GTR, 120 grand. I think I remember seeing when I was 18. Oh, wow. And now, I don't know what they're asking. What, 250 or something? I don't know, something like that. Stupid number some insane number, a house, something like that. For a Nissan.
Yeah, for a Nissan, right? Nissan. I know. Which, I mean, still, and it depends on what you see a Nissan as. But very, very cool. If you could buy a new car today, what intrigues you? Anything?
Like a brand new car?
Yeah.
Oh, there's not really...
Your standard viewers wouldn't like it, but...
Yeah. Look, I don't really enjoy the look of the new M4 and M3. I'm not too big of a fan of it, but the previous generation... Yeah, it's sort of grown on me a little bit. I mean, you can put a really nice bumper on them and make it look a little bit better.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, like TJ Hunt. I don't know if you've seen his one. He's a G80 M3 or whatever, the green one. Yeah. That is now turning into something else. I don't know what it is, but I would like the previous generation of that. I think that would be pretty
E92 and M3. I would like to see one of those on your channel. That would be cool.
That would be awesome. That is a dead ass dream car of mine. E92 M3 for sure.
The sound styling's pretty cool. But definitely the sound of that V8. It was a short sort of window, right, that they had it as well. Like they didn't make, I wouldn't think, that many of them in that time period. Yeah. Very, very cool car. I don't know how many of them came to Australia. It's probably a fair amount. Yeah. It would just be able to find one that's not, molested in some way. Surely some banker dude just drove it around and now it's just sitting in his garage.
There's one thing you do have to do to them though. You need to make sure that they've got rod bearings done because they, for some reason...
Yeah, you would think that a BM engine that was NA that was high revving would be like good. Well, maybe not. But I guess after the years, though, like people find these fixes, right? Like if you want to turbo your Barra, like a million people have done it before. So I mean, all the information and stuff is there, so that helps a lot. Probably same thing with an E92 M3. So I'm sure Hans is like, put the rod bearings in and can show you pretty much and make it easy. All right, dude. Anything else you want to talk about? What is happening in the world of Rex H?
Looking for more Facebook Marketplace stuff. Yeah. That'll be the next adventure again. Yeah. But then I need to do that, and I also need to look for another car build because I do really enjoy building a car. I love the process. It's not really the end result. It's just that satisfaction of like finishing a project. Like I don't know, doing like the oil lines, all the oil feeds, like the fabrication, because we do that all in the garage now.
Awesome.
It's very satisfying.
Now you're at home, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you, So obviously you've got some very, very accommodating parents,
Very good parents.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like that is so good, and they must be proud of you considering how much you've grown over this last few years.
Yeah.
And that's so nice that they've just had this constant stream of like builds and parts and cars just going in and out constantly and filming all the time. That's really, really cool. Man, what is the dream? We're gonna have like a full time like garage. Do you think eventually, or one day maybe?
I'd love to eventually move out of my parents' house, get my own sort of house, and then obviously get a factory. I reckon that'd be sick, like sort of warehouse that I can have all my cars stored at. I can have hoists. I can have the boys around. You
can shoot at any time.
Yeah, shoot at any time. Make all the noise in the world, and not need to worry about that. That would be the ultimate goal, but it's a lot more work that needs to be done to get there for sure.
Yeah, no, I'll be there, man. I'll see it happen for sure. I'll see it happen for sure. And then when you buy a Porsche, you can hide it at the back and not show it.
I told you I'm going to get a Porsche one day. Yeah.
But just no one's allowed to see it. Otherwise, you'll be hated.
It'll be negative views.
That's right. You'll be hated.
As my friends say, dead content.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for coming on, man. Thanks for talking to us. I'm sure we'll get you on in future as your channel progresses. And you progress. Watch you for many years, so thanks very much for watching, guys. This is Driver 88. If you like this, tell us who we should get on next, and we'll see you next time.